What's going on, everybody? Hello and welcome all to the Spooky Spooky Horror Show podcast. Delta turned himself again.
Did I?
Yeah. There you go.
Is that better? Okay.
That's what I told you.
It's hard to remember.
That's what
it's
I told
hard to remember.
Well, what screen do you have me on?
I have you on almost three different. I have you over here. That's on Discord. I have you over here on your stream.
Which one do you talk to? So what's on your main screen?
Oh, I'm looking at video games right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
I should be on the main screen. The video game should be on the other, since the main screen is in front of your microphone.
Okay, so then you feel that I should be doing this, is what you're telling me. So hold on, one second, sir. Listen, sir. All right.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Man's recording a podcast and he's sitting there looking at games.
Yes, because we are gamers. I'm getting bored. I got gamer's lock. I don't know what to tell you. Still haven't beat Elden Ring, everybody. How old is that game?
Hello and welcome all to another episode of the Spooky Spooky Horror Show podcast. I'm your host, Sean. I'm joined by Anthony for another banger of an episode. Today, we will be reviewing and spoiling the 1998 classic Disturbing Behavior. Before we get into all that,
1998. Holy
I know.
shit.
Before we get into all that, Anthony, how has your week been?
I mean, it's not bad. I guess. I don't want to say work's picked up. It's just that I guess the heavy work that I actually do, that's like my specialty work, has been coming in. So I've been doing that. So I'm actually content at work for once. It's only taken fucking 2 years, but
you finally have stuff to actually keep you busy.
I know. Yes. Like I can't. And you know what? I don't want to hear people. Oh, nobody wants to work. Maybe if you gave them the task that they fucking were hired for. It might be a little bit inclined,
No, honestly, that's what it usually comes down to. It's nobody wants to work. You don't want to pay people, and you don't want them to do the job that they actually got hired to do. You want them to do everyone else's job. So
everything else. So it's like, fuck me, man. But we're getting the room together. I'm gonna move the table tomorrow, but the room's coming together. We got some stuff going on in the back. Got some more crazy ideas coming. I want to paint this room soon too.
Yeah, I sent that image of Art the Clown to Engraver Gamer to do the wood burning for the back of your wall. So just make sure you have like an area picked out.
Yeah, just go around it.
He's based in the UK, so God only knows what stuff takes to fucking get there. But he did say he does ship to the US, and he has shipped a lot of stuff before, so we're good. I need to figure out what I want in my area. But yeah, so let's get into some production facts. Principal photography began in January 1998 and ran into late March of the same year. It was all filmed in the Vancouver area, and it was written by Scott Rosenberg and directed by David Nutter. Fucking love his name.
Nutter!
Yeah, Disturbing Behavior.
He's the D-Nutter! Oh
God. Disturbing Behavior stars James Marsden, Katie Holmes, Nick Stahl, Bruce Greenwood, and my favorite, William Sadler. Fucking love that man. He could do no wrong. This is where we start getting into like fuck studios, especially with the ongoing writer strikes and shit, and screen actor strikes. Due to negative test screenings, the film underwent numerous studio mandated recuts and reshoots. They even reshot the original ending.
What? Wow, really?
Many of the cuts were to scenes providing plot and character development. The studio said get rid of things that explain the plot and give the characters like a development.
Okay, maybe that's why I have the opinion I do now.
Yep.
When we were younger in '98, man, this was like, oh, this is a fucking movie. We all put it on. It was one of those cult classics, And then TBS ran the fucking hell out of it.
Yep.
And then watching it now, I was like, I'll get into it, but that makes a lot more sense now.
Yep. After the first test audience screening, David Nutter had to cut the backstory for Steve's brother Alan, as well as a love scene for Steve and Rachel, explaining like any of that, how it's like all of a sudden it's like we'll be together. It's like okay, it's like really?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, there's a couple things weird with that, and then on top of that, they kept having the flashback of the brother, and the brother's from our time period too. I remember him being in a bunch of movies. Yeah, and they never showed him in the movie anymore.
The film was tested again in front of audiences and again tested below the studio's expectations, so MGM proceeded to take full control of the film and hired a completely different editor, George Fosley Jr., to make further cuts. So this
is
isn't
there an
even
original one floating around?
I think later there's I think there's info on that. I don't remember everything about it though.
Okay.
Nutter was instructed to shoot a whole new ending in which the character of Gavin survives because test audience disliked the plotline where he dies. Cuts made to the film were so severe that Nutter at one point considered having his name completely removed from the credits, but decided not to out of respect for his cast and crew. Director David Nutter said he envisioned the film to be an atmospheric, like X-Files style thriller, but the studio wanted a Scream-style teen horror, so that's what they tried to recut it as.
They fucking mashed that together poorly.
Yeah. He commented their attitude was, let's just get to the fright beats. They felt teenagers wouldn't sit through a film that was more than 90 minutes. That's bullshit. The studio ultimately cut 31 minutes worth of film from Nutter's original 115-minute version, resulting in an 84-minute theatrical cut. The film had a budget...
That's why.
Yep, because the studio got involved. This is what always ends up happening. Usually the people that work in a studio that control all this shit have never made a fucking movie. They are not creative. They're just fucking penny pushers. Penny pinchers and shit. That's all that they do.
They keep you in budget, keep you under the...
That's all they do. They have no idea how to fucking make a film. They're not creative types. It's like, that's why you have people like James Gunn taking over DC, and it's like, oh, well, he's made films, he understands. That's why people are like, okay, maybe it'll be good. I don't know. Anarigod said, quote, "We love your story. We just want to make some small modifications. The start of the end."
What if we redid something else here? Yeah, no, fuck you.
But now here's the thing. Disturbing Behavior had an estimated budget of $15 million, and it only ended up bringing in $17.5 million. However, you have to know the budget is probably taking into account the reshoots and the recuts of everything. Because all that shit costs money.
Yeah, they fucked themselves, yeah.
That's how they always get fucked up.
Maybe they actually paid their fucking people, you know.
The original budget was probably way less, but because the studio spent through all this money, because that's just how they do. If there's a problem, they just throw money at it.
Well, you don't mean all companies like mine doesn't do that too, you know?
No. Well, because, like, think about it. Who is it? Blumhouse. They make, like, I think their low budget films are like $1 to $10 million, like average like $5 million, and then they turn around and they make like fucking $100 million, and it's like, why do they make so much money? Because you're focusing on one thing and you don't spend over that money. But back in like the 90s, it's just keep throwing money at shit, and it's fucking it's stupid. It's why I don't like.
When the 90s was prosperity, was a prosperity time, time period.
Yeah. But with the plot's coming up. With production facts out of the way and now having that information, what did you think of the film? Spoiler free.
Well, now that I know that, see, before he just said all that, I said it to him the other day. I was like, honestly, this is a fucking dumbass movie. Like, when we were kids, it was cool. It was like, oh, look, it's more like vampires, and then we watched these type of movies, and it was like the thing you watched. Gather around with your friends. I'm watching it as an adult. I thought it was fucking stupid. I was like, there is so much shit I don't understand. I was like, is this like a horror film? Is it a sci-fi film? Boners are killing people? Like, what the fuck are we doing right now? And now that you said that they've cut about probably all of the fucking things explaining those things, I can see where it went wrong.
Yeah.
I can see that. So, I mean, aside from that, then I guess it actually was a pretty decently cool movie. I don't say it was good, but it was a cool movie.
Yeah, it's the acting in it was good. There were some people that weren't good,
pretty decent.
But it's like the actors in it, like
Dick Kid was like, that was a terrible.
The majority of the actors were good, and I think I even later on I have there's a lot of people in this film that like went on to do other stuff where it's like
a lot more. Yeah,
you look and you go, oh fuck, it's that person. Oh, it's that person. Oh, it's that person.
There's a lot of people in it.
And yeah, it's like I said, I've seen this movie a lot, especially when I was younger.
Oh God,
the soundtrack, the soundtrack is amazing.
The soundtrack. I'm listening with her, and I'm like, oh my God, my whole entire childhood is flashing from our eyes.
Yeah,
it was all bangers after bangers, man. We had good music in the '90s, people.
Yeah, but no, like music was good. The cinematography was good. The editing was kind of shit. But that's probably the studio being like, oh, we need to make it boom, 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 ooh, ooh, ooh. And it's like, whatever.
I don't feel it transferred to like 1080p or like updated.
Oh no,
It looks grainy as shit. Some movies don't swap over well to modern shit.
Tubi has a thing where it's like things are they play all the movies are like 720p, probably for it's a free service and all that stuff. But I was looking today.
I love Tubi,
and this movie only went to 480.
That's why. Okay,
yeah,
that's why. Because downstairs, I know for a fact does 4K, and it's always crystal clear. And I'm like, damn, this is kind of fucking hard to watch.
Yeah. That's the 90s.
It's gritty as a fuck. You could always tell.
How I
it looks like a VHS tape in this motherfucker.
The same way I ruined watching films for you, I've done the same thing to my wife, because now when she watches stuff and there's like all the grain and digital artifacts, she's like, ugh, this is
what the fuck is that shit? What is this shit here? Yeah,
she's like, I can't watch it. It's hard. I was like, I told you. Once you can see
why
the
would
stuff,
you cut that scene? Yeah, like there's a boom in the fucking corner. Who watched the guy with the boom?
Sorry, you had my experience. But all right, you ready for some spoilers?
I do. Excuse me.
We're gonna start off with a bang, almost
bang.
literally.
A banger.
The film
Bangers
opens with
mash.
high school couple Andy and Mary Jo making out by the dam.
Mary Jo.
That's such a weird name for her. She does not look like a Mary Jo.
She's not a Mary Jo.
No. He stops the makeout session before Mary Jo can go down on him because he needs his fluids for the big game this weekend.
I'm like, what the fuck?
This is probably the only part of the movie where the acting is weird and kind of awful, because she's so...
I feel that's a little stretching that, but...
She's breathy when she speaks. She's like,
I guess so.
She'll be like, he'll be like, yeah, I need my fluids. And she's like, oh, wow. And it's like, why is she talking like that? Why is that the way she's saying the line?
In a poor manner.
That's not a seductive way. And especially because I think she's supposed to be like trash. She's supposed to be from like the other side of the so she would not be talking like that at all. So it's like that whole thing, it was just weird. But this doesn't stop her, because apparently she needs his fluids too.
Why should it?
Gavin spots the car and wonders what's going on.
Kid. Put the kids to bed, guys. We're having one of those streams.
Yep. Gavin spots the car and wonders what's going on, so he decides to stick around, especially when he notices that the cops are pulling up.
As Andy say, is this creepy motherfucker? His commentary, this fucking guy, Gavin, or whatever the fuck.
Well, what else is he gonna do?
Bro, that was creepy as shit.
He's got nothing else to do, man. Watch people get busted up at like Makeout Point or whatever the hell it's called.
Watch people moan is what he was trying to do.
But as Andy's about to come, his eyes glow. Just told you, it just fucking did it. It just did it. I have it muted though, so no one else can hear it. God damn it! It just popped it up. So I gotta do that. I gotta do the whole cum stuff all over again. Okay,
fucking terrible. And it hits so hard from a dead silence too. You're like, no, I cum so. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take that again. As Andy's about to come, his eyes glow red, and he snaps Mary Jo's neck, dick still in his mouth, in her mouth.
You
not his
know,
mouth.
How did that work out for him? I'm sorry. If
I don't know.
Like that, I'm gonna think there's a little bit
of. I
would
think bad. I would think bad. So now the cops come to the side of the car. They ask Andy to step out.
He's always fucking
walk
some
over.
Shit up.
It's past curfew and stuff. Andy's talking to the one cop. I think it's the sheriff or chief. I don't fucking know. I think they call him like.
I
two
think it's the
things.
sheriff. He comes around again. He's always at these fucking events.
Yeah. So he goes over and they start talking about the upcoming game while the other cop checks on Mary Jo. He finds her dead in the passenger seat.
Fucking dead.
And Andy has another break, grabs the sheriff's gun, and kills the deputy by the car. Instead of arresting him...
Shot the sheriff.
Well, no,
I did not shoot the deputy. Yo, shit, motherfucker. You did shoot that sheriff.
They shot the deputy. They didn't shoot the sheriff.
God damn it.
Instead of arresting him, the sheriff tells him to get out of here and leave Mary Jo's body at the scene. Gavin makes a run for it, but his dumbass dog gives him away by barking. Now we're cut to the next day. Bright and sunny. High school senior Steve Clark and his family moved to Cradle Bay, a picturesque island community in Washington State's Puget Sound. Puget Sound? Puget Sound. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. They do some unpacking. His parents are fucking weird. because of like their
Very
dead brother,
weird.
his dead brother and shit. I don't know.
They're awkward as shit, bud. Like, even you got pissed off in that one scene we'll get in later.
Yeah, but they go to school, and this is when I realized the film is jam packed with like young up and coming actors that went on to do like a ton of things.
The dude from Roswell was in it. You see a little punker ass come down the staircase.
So it's like
There's a bunch of people in this.
James Marsden. He played Cyclops in the X-Men movies. Nick Stahl was in a ton of shit. He does a lot of indie stuff, but he was, for at least one film, John Connor in, I think, Terminator 3? It was the one with Claire Danes.
Is that the one I'm thinking of? The guy
I think
I'm thinking of? From Roswell?
No.
The show?
No.
Okay.
The bad Katie Holmes
guy. Oh.
Katie Holmes, obviously, Dawson's Creek.
What's her name, Joey, on Dawson's Creek?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, because it was like Josephine Potter or something like that. Catherine Isabel plays the little sister. She was in the horror movie franchise Ginger Snaps. She was in Freddy vs. Jason and shit like that.
Really? Oh, yes, Stack Check. I noticed her immediately. I'm like, holy shit, she's fucking young in this.
Yeah. AJ Buckley played Chug, the guy that's obsessed with Katie Holmes. He went on to be in like a ton of shit, but we would know him as one of the ghost facers from Supernatural.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's him. Then you got Brendan Furr, who was in the Roswell. Yeah. But he was also in a vampire movie with the gay character whose name I cannot remember from Dawson's Creek.
Oh, the brother.
It was a vampire movie where the dude from Dawson's Creek has to deliver a car, and he's going, and then vampires come after him. It was an okay movie. They should have done another one. Carly Pope from the 90s, I think it was the 90s TV show Popular. She was in it.
Popular.
And
I didn't like it, but I remember that one.
Yeah, and then Ethan Embry, who played the deceased brother. He's in this too.
I mean, that dude was
and he went on to do a ton
movies.
of shit. Yeah, and then that's just like the like teenager / young adult actors that are in it. Then it's like Bruce Greenwood has been in a ton of shit. Will Sadler's been in a ton of shit. The chick that played Caldicott's like assistant nurse person, she's been in a ton of shit. It's like you see these people and you're like, fuck, I've seen you guys in everything.
Because back then they weren't big stars back then. They peppered in these smaller movies that made it big.
But yeah, see, Anari God has seen Ginger Snaps. He just hasn't seen it in a while. It's a great horror franchise.
I have never seen that. Oddly, never seen that. I thought it was this weird kind of like sex film one.
No, yeah, but no. Kind of. But yeah, we could probably cover it at some point.
Kind of.
His family moves from Chicago after the suicide of the eldest son, Alan, played by Ethan Embry, a loss Steve is still struggling with. On his first day of school, Steve meets outcast students Gavin Strict and UV. I love UV.
I think maybe. UV's fucking cool, though.
He is awesome.
He's all laid back and shit.
And it's at this point I want to acknowledge that we are 10 minutes in, and we have already been hit with 3 banger fucking songs. Just one after the other. And it continues the rest of the movie. The rest of this movie is filled with fantastic music.
Yes. Fuck yeah. All the good fucking bands are in this.
I can, at the end of this, go through like the soundtrack.
The soundtrack? Wait, while you're doing that, I'll look it up.
Okay. Gavin explains to Steve the cliques of the school. The Motorheads, the Micro Geeks, the Skaters. I had one of those stupid shirts. Did you?
What?
That stupid shirt that he was wearing? The Skater?
No.
You never had that? I had that.
No.
And then there's the Blue Ribbons, or the Blue Robots, as Gavin and UV calls them.
Or the Stepford dudes.
Yeah, and then you have, of course, Gavin and UV, who are basically just burn-ins. The town sees the Blue Ribbons as a clique of preppy, clean-cut overachievers. I was mixing up cut and cult, because they're a cult.
Yeah, because they are a cult, definitely.
Yeah, clean-cut overachievers, but Gavin claims they're a murderous cult that's been lobotomized and brainwashed by Caldecott, which they are. Steve is skeptical about all that, but keeps his distance from the Ribbons regardless. At dinner, Steve's sister, Catherine Isabel, has already made friends and has her over for dinner. This is day 1.
Day 1. Day 1 with this guy, yeah.
Day 1. This bitch has a friend over. Want to come over to my house for dinner? Day 1. Yeah. Bitch, nobody knows you. Nobody is coming over your house that fast. Yeah. Like, no, get out of here.
We had stranger danger. These kids don't have stranger danger. I can't stand it.
I just watched it, but I think I was in the middle of typing when it happens. Somehow the dead brother is mentioned. I think it's because like an extra plate was set.
Yes, and then that's when he freaks out, and he's like, okay, we're just gonna continue to act like nothing, and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, that's fucked up for this kid.
I love when she's like, oh no, that's my brother. That's a spot for my brother Alan or something. And she's like, I thought your name was Steve. And he goes, no, that's my dead brother. Yes, Steve, the Forsaken. James. See, Inari God knows the Forsaken.
He knew it. Yeah.
Love that movie. It's a terrible movie, but I love that movie. And then the father is all like, oh, and he's all like, hey, so do you get in trouble when you mention your dead grandma at the dinner table? Because here everyone gets real angry when you mention our dead brother. He just gets up and walks away.
Just lays it into him. I'm like, oh,
good, because they act as if not talking about it is suddenly going to make everything better.
It's like a healthier thing for them. Clearly not.
Honestly, the only people that seem to be dealing with the loss of their brother
is
Steve and his sister. They're the only ones. The family is just like, the parents are just like, they basically treat him like he's crazy and like he's a problem. And it's honestly super annoying, and I bet there would be a lot more backstory if like 30 minutes of this wasn't cut out.
You know? I'm telling you, if I would have known that, I would have had a different reaction, you know?
Yeah. The next day, we get to meet the school psychologist, Dr. Edgar Caldecott, who suggests he joins the Blue Ribbons program, a motivational workshop. No thank you, sir.
Oh.
It's like, no, I want no part of that. We also get to finally meet Rachel, played by Katie Holmes, in the only role that I have ever liked her in.
Yeah,
later that night, yeah. It's the only role she doesn't look like my sister.
Roles.
Yeah, you see it now, don't you?
Slightly.
Yeah.
Well, now that you said it, you can't unsee it. So.
Yep, exactly. But this is the only movie she has never looked like my sister.
This is when she's the only time she's ever. I mean, she always looked attractive, but she looked good in this one.
Yeah. Later that night, Rachel. What the fuck is his name? Gavin, Rachel, and Steve, yes, are trying to get people to buy them beer, but there aren't any biters. Outside the grocery store.
I love that old guy's reaction. Get off my back, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Beat
I was like, who the fuck says this? He's like, this dude asked you for beer. That, like, for the first time. Why the hell do you say that?
Yeah. Outside the grocery store, Rachel is approached by Chug, a blue ribbon who's attracted to her. That's AJ Buckley. That's one of the ghost facers. He grows up to be a ghost facer. Gavin makes fun of him after he is kind of like pushed to the side by Rachel, and he leaves to get stuff from the store. On the checkout line, he catches sight of Rachel's midriff-bearing outfit, and apparently he's so hard up to come that just looking at her belly button makes him just erupt. So a couple of skaters
fucking acts like a dick.
A couple of skaters bump into him, sending him into a fit of rage, and he savagely beats the shit out of one of them inside the store. Chug nearly kills him, while the whole town and the police are just kind of just like looking there. And it's like, oh well. Like, what is this?
So much nonchalant. Like, the whole fucking area is involved. Like, I don't get it.
The thing I wonder is, I can understand the parents getting behind Caldecott.
But
why the sheriff?
My parents drugged me.
I
feel like
the sheriff doesn't have a kid.
Didn't the sheriff have? No,
he didn't have a kid. You know,
well,
and then
maybe
the other
that
thing
30 fucking minutes they stole from us would tell us.
Yeah, but then you also have the parents see one of the blue ribbons freaking out and like beating the shit out of people in a grocery store.
Yes.
Wouldn't you be like, hey, your shit doesn't work?
Seem to vibe to
and it's like, no.
Or the fact that they locked that dude in the fucking thing later on and like fucking brutally beat this kid down. Like,
yeah. Steve asks what just happened, and Rachel just claims it must be roid rage. Gavin again insists on his whole mind control theory. Gavin takes Steve to the school hideout in the basement the next day, where we meet janitor Mr. Newberry, played by...
Not every school apparently has, I don't know, Freddy Krueger's fucking, London dungeon down at the bottom of it.
Dungeon? Yeah, no.
What the fuck was that? It even had a little oven there, like they had Freddy's fucking hand in down there with that guy. I was like, what the fuck kind of basement is it for a school?
I think that's probably like a wood burning
Oh, it was, but that was the scariest looking basement for a school.
But I also think that it was probably old. That's why it's like there's cigarettes and shit like that were hidden in there. It just wasn't used anymore. Outside, they spot Blue Ribbons destroying Jenko's car because earlier in the film, Jenko comes in, him and one of the Blue Ribbons get into it, they get into a fight. But then at a certain point, Jenko was approved for the Blue Ribbons program, so they, as Anthony brought up, they savagely beat the shit out of him, and now he comes walking out, and he is the newest Blue Ribbon. And he takes part in destroying his old car. That was a gorgeous car. UV brings up...
Nobody... I want to point it, dude, it was on school property. Why wouldn't have anybody been like, what the fuck? Even if it was his car.
Ribbons. Because it's the Blue Ribbons.
That's what I mean. Some Stefford wife shit, man.
Yep. Now, you say that does come up a little bit later. UV brings up if Steve knows about the murders of that officer and Mary Jo, and he again just blows it off. It's like, I don't want to believe in your conspiracy theories, and walks away. At the yogurt shoppy, or whatever the hell it's called, the Blue Ribbons try to get Steve to join the group. Gavin shows up wanting to show him something, but the Blue Ribbons, led by Chug, begin to surround him until Steve finally stands up and says that he's just going to leave with Gavin. However, he doesn't leave before finally snapping at Trent for constantly calling him brother. I hate people like that. I fucking hate that. What's going on, brother? I'm not your fucking brother, up, man. Brother? Like,
what up, brother?
You're not, and you're not Hulk Hogan either.
Yeah, I know. That's the only person who's gonna get away with that one.
My favorite is Trent slow. You saw him when they were talking to Steve. This is Steven. He's from Chicago. He's like, did you have friends in Chicago? And then after asking that question, he just goes, huh? It's like, what is this? I'd be like, I don't want any part of this. This is fucking weird. I need to leave. Like, no. Get me the fuck out of here.
Fucking cold bullshit right now.
Yeah. Gavin sneaks Steve into the school where they get into the vents. Pretty big vents.
Of course, because we just
and
they
eavesdrop.
Yeah, I just get it in the fucking vents.
Yeah. They eavesdrops on the, I wouldn't even say parent-teacher conference. I think it's just a meeting with the parents held by Caldecott. The group agrees to accept the newest candidate. Turns out, however, that Gavin's parents signed him up for the Blue Ribbons, and he is the newest candidate. Turns out, Gavin's parents signed him up for the Blue Ribbons, so freaking out, he shows Steve a gun that he plans to use on any potential brainwashers.
Yeah.
You know what would have probably explained a whole lot with like Steve like super freaking out over the gun? If they explained more that his brother killed himself by shooting himself.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But
and
no,
like
we don't.
Recently, but no.
Kids are too stupid to fucking understand backstory and stuff. They don't want to see it.
They don't want that.
Show me boobies and show me killing. That's all that I want. Steve calls him paranoid.
Oh yeah, there was boobs in this. What?
Hell yeah.
It wasn't even like anything to a giant. It wasn't like a giant scene or nothing like that.
No.
I would have taken the backstory.
But she's hot. I mean, she's still hot.
She's okay.
Steve calls him paranoid, wrestles the gun away from him, and then tells him, you know, if anything, just stay with him for the night. Don't go home, stay at my house. But Gavin's like, you fucked me up, man. Whatever.
Where's my gun bag, man?
The next day, Gavin shows up at school with a totally transformed look and the same smug attitude that the Blue Ribbons have.
Yeah.
Steve tries to reach out.
He predicted it. Steve tries to reach out after, what is it? One of the douchebags calls Rachel a slut. Oh,
it's like sluts need not apply and stuff like that. I would have looked directly at Chug, who's been trying desperately to get in my pants, and be like, "Are you gonna let him talk to me like that? I thought you liked me." And then see if the Blue Ribbons would actually fight each other. Because do they just not fight each other? Like, I don't understand how that works.
Because it's like they got raging hard-ons for each other. Because apparently your dick getting
that's
bent.
the other thing. That's the other thing though, because whenever they get horny. Right, they go on a murderous rage, right?
When that lack of brain flow from the head, goes to their organs.
Let's say Steve did get turned, right? And I think the girl's name was Lorna. She's into him. Say they go to fuck. Okay. Would the fact that they're both like taken over, would that cancel stuff out, or would they like beat the shit out of each other and try to kill each other while fucking? You know?
Yeah.
You know, like, if Mary Jo had the chip in her head and she's going down on, what was his name, Andy, would she have turned and then bit his dick off? Or would it just cancel out, right?
Would it cancel out and they just have regular old sex?
It's like maybe this is stuff that would have been talked about in a backstory, But
in a backstory, they got cut out. Thank you very much. Nick.
And our guy goes, it's just hate fuck at that point. So she tries to go over to talk to Gavin, but there's an asshole. Which Gavin is being nice. He's like, I'll talk to you pushes and everything. And yes, she pushes it, and she should have stopped, but it's whatever. But then Steve gets up to go and talk to him, and he gets pushed to the ground after they're like, we don't need you or whatever. And then UV gets up, and UV gets tossed across a fucking table. And that's when the entire cafeteria clears out, except for Blue Ribbons. They all locked the doors.
Everybody was fine with it. They all locked the doors. No one's like, hey, what the fuck?
If you watch the scene when everyone's
there's
clearing
a teacher.
out, there's a teacher. There's a teacher that shuts the door.
There's a teacher just like sighting behind the door like, oh no.
Yeah, I would have been like, yo,
punch those pearls, bitch.
Yourself.
Punch those pearls, you dick.
It's like, oh god, I'm gonna get my ass handed to me.
There's gonna be a showdown. A fucking a tumbleweed goes by. You know, like fucking.
But yeah, so they clear out. They start beating the shit out of him, kicking him in the stomach, punching him all that stuff.
I'm glad that you saw that too. I knew you would.
Yeah, it's like even I was riding my bike while watching it. As I'm riding the bike. I have my iPad as I'm like typing up extra notes and like fixing some formatting and shit. And I'm looking, and I'm like, "The fuck is that teacher doing? What?
The teacher just fucking right there,
and it's just like closing the door. It's like, nah, I'm good. It's like, fuck you, man, fuck you.
I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, Gavin stops them from beating the shit out of him, and he helps him up. Gavin tells him something like, "We will overcome," or something like that, and then knees him in the gut, knocking him to the ground. Steve, obviously, after they try to like help him up, he's a little embarrassed, so he decides to go eat lunch in the boiler room. When Mr. Newberry comes in. And Steve finds out that Mr. Newberry is not as dumb as he makes everyone believe. As he puts it, people tend to ignore you when they think you're stupid.
And they think you're stupid.
And that's very true. However, the idea is to not actually be stupid. The problem is, there are a lot of very stupid people think that they're smart.
Think that they're playing stupid, yes.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you're just stupid.
I'm just playing stupid. No.
You know who those people are?
Like they say in the South, bless your heart.
Yeah. The stupid people that think they're smart but are actually stupid are all those people that go, I'll do my own research. It's like, no, you don't. You don't know how to read a medical paper. There's a lot of words in there that you don't even know how to fucking Google. All right, so just stop it. You're dumb. You're just a dum-dum. You
can't say the word syllabus, okay?
Yeah. It's like you go, how do you spell xylophone?
You don't know how to
Z. It's like, well, you failed. While walking home, he's chased through the woods by the Blue Ribbons. It's really dark. When does he get out of school?
The movie is dark. Yeah, the movie is very dark.
Right? But it's like, where was he this entire time? That like all of a sudden he gets home. Like he's going home and it's dark. He already said he's not interested in extracurricular activities. So he's not doing any of that shit. School lets out at 3. It's super fucking dark as he's walking home.
Yeah.
Why is it so dark? Like, where the fuck has he been? But when he gets home, he finds the hottest of the Blue Ribbon members, Lorna, in his living room. She just finished tutoring his little sister, Lindsay. And this is when she tries to seduce him. He's like, no, just no. And she's like, okay, well, can I use the bathroom? She goes into the bathroom, and while she's in the bathroom, cleaning up.
Am I frozen? No, okay.
No, you're fine. She's looking in the mirror at Steve, at his reflection, and she is getting all slip and slide wet.
Oh, yeah.
So then she comes out, titties out, be like, hi, and he tries. He's like, nah, but it's a hot girl in high school throwing at you. And he's down for it for a minute until he sees her eye do that.
Oh, you mean light up like Wesker from fucking Resident Evil?
Yeah.
I was like, no.
And then he's like, no, that's a big no. And everything doesn't seem right. I'm glad. I am glad though that Steve the entire time realizes that things aren't like normal. They could have easily
he knew it off the get-go.
Yeah, they could have easily written this as, oh, he's just a horny teenage guy. Because let's be honest, you have a hot girl in high school that wants to make out with you, and she starts making out with you, and you see like her eye flicker. Are you gonna stop? Like you're not gonna stop.
You know, that question does get begged to be answered a lot from people, and I don't know. Some people have those limits, and some people just are like, listen, it is what it is. I listen. I gotta do.
Honestly, it's like that one guy who actually stops mid boner. Yeah, because
He does seem like he would be a mid-stroke. He'd be almost pumping his vinegar strokes and be like, "Oh, you know what? I don't think this is the right time. You know what? I'm sorry."
Whereas me, I'm like, well, I'm here.
Well, I already paid the gas fare here.
Yeah, it's like I'm already here. I might as But yeah, so he pushes her away.
Anyways.
Yeah, he pushes her away, and this is when she flies into a violent rage, repeating "wrong, bad, bad, wrong,"
and then
smashing her head into the mirror.
Fucking weird.
She grabs a shard of glass and then tries to attack Steve with it. He subdues her, and he like when he pushes her off, she hits her head on the wall, right?
Yeah,
that's what knocks her.
And then she
back.
cuts it open.
Yeah,
and back in a non-horny hood.
Yeah, so this subdues her, and she snaps out of the thing, and she's like, "I have a big test tomorrow," and then she just walks out with her tits out. I'm like,
I was like,
the fuck is going on?
Nothing fucking happened. I'm like, oh my god.
You don't like. I would have half expected her to like tighten up. I was like, I have.
She's like, I got a test.
It's just like, okay.
Oh no.
We then cut to Caldecott and his assistant working on Lorna after the incident. When they find out everything is working fine, except for when they get horny, they freak the fuck out. Instead of trying to fix it, he just tells her to just cut the bruises out of the banana.
Cut the bruise. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like,
just cut it out. We'll sterilize that area.
No, you need to figure out what's wrong to stop that from happening. If you want this to be like a thing, like you can't every time someone gets horny.
He's got a whole town to do an active test run.
But everyone keeps dying or killing people. It's either people are dying or people are killing people. It's like, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's how Steve and his family got there. So I mean, there's that.
I was just gonna say it.
Rachel. Yes. It's the next day. It's the next day. I think Rachel comes out of class. I think it's like lunch, and that's when UV comes up saying that he needs to sell this bud.
But he said he has 3 more people.
He makes such weird fucking references that like I just don't get. He's like, oh, what is it? He's like, let's go. It made me feel like I'm 7-Eleven. And I'm like,
yeah, I don't know what the 7-Eleven was.
What are you
that
saying?
He's open 24 hours.
Oh, okay. I guess that's what it is. Because I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying, my dude. What are you doing?
I love when she says razor. I was like, did we say that when we were younger?
No, we did not. No, we didn't. That's an old person writing children dialogue.
Oh, I was like, I don't remember that dialogue when we were kids.
No, because we didn't say that. We didn't say that ever. Rachel goes down into the school boiler room, usually where Gavin and all of them hang out, to get some smokes, where she finds a DVD that Gavin left behind, and as she finds it, she's accosted by Chug again, who comes into the boiler room. Yeah. He asks her to go out. Yeah, he asks her to go out, and she rejects him, only for him to get violent and force himself
violent. Oh my god!
Is razor just a reference to calling something sharp?
He looked like Brock Turner.
I think they're using razor as like a. Because did she say I got a razor? Yeah,
no, I don't like razor.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know if it. Yeah, is that what it means? I don't know if it's like I gotta go or if it was like cool. I don't remember. Yeah, because she was like, oh, that's razor. Yeah, it's probably like something that's cool or something like that. Or yeah, look, yeah, that outfit looks sharp. So yeah, it's probably like that old people lingo, because nobody says that ever.
I don't remember saying that ever.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, you look sharp. It's like, no, that's something my grandmother said. But yeah, so she rejects him, and this just makes him get violent and force himself on her. He grabs her titty so fucking hard that you can see her wince.
Her wince?
I was like, God damn, he fucking went for it. I don't think that would be okay nowadays. I think that's something you have to get with like a coordinator.
Get with legal.
Yeah, that's because like he grabbed it and he squeezed super fucking hard, and then he goes to unbuckle her pants because if she's not going to go out with him, he'll just fuck her there because that's normal. This is when Newberry's device that he's been using to repel rats, it like emits like this sound.
It has like a frequency that's just
and this sends Chug into a fucking frenzy.
Rachel escapes. Of rage.
Yeah, Rachel escapes as Chug finds the device. I hate that his name is Chug. Finds the device and destroys it. Whole incident is witnessed by Newberry, and he does. Oh, that's the other thing. What was I watching? Steve meets up with Rachel at her place after he spots the blue ribbons cruising by his house. The DVD that Rachel found apparently shows that what's it called?
God.
Gavin had went back into the giant air ducts and was eavesdropping on Caldecott. And yeah, there was like
a video of himself.
Yeah, there was like he was talking about some fucking bullshit. So he wanted Rachel to know that these are the things they were talking about, and there's got to be something there. So Rachel does some digging and finds out that Caldecott used to work at a mental hospital working on mind control. They decide to check out the mental hospital because it's close by to search for some answers. And it turns out Gavin was right. Caldecott is implanting microchips in the brains of teenagers with the approval of their
eyeball.
parents. I hate that. I hate anything to do with eyeballs.
It reminded me of Dead Space.
He's reprogramming their children from juvenile delinquents into well-behaved model citizens. However, Caldecott can't turn off their hormones, resulting in violent fits of rage whenever the subject gets sexual urges.
Goddamn libidos.
Now at the school meeting, one of the parents commented that her son wasn't acting right.
Yeah, because you fucking brainwashed them.
I, right now, can safely say his experiments are failures. Because if they are supposed to be good, upstanding citizens of the community, shouldn't they be nice to everyone in the community?
Yeah.
Instead, they're cold, arrogant assholes to everybody that isn't a blue ribbon. How do parents go, nah, this ain't right? You realize
it's the trying to be the Stepford wife shit.
Yeah. Heading home, trying to come up with a plan, they stop to get gas, but are stopped and harassed by the sheriff, or chief, whatever the fuck he is. I can't even remember anymore.
Johnny Law.
Newberry ends up showing up to throw out rats. Got rats. It's fucking weird.
I get a quarter per rat. I'm rich.
Yeah.
I was like, Rachel, I don't know. That sack don't look that big, homie.
Yeah. Rachel goes to start her truck up again so that they can go home, and the sheriff's like, what are you doing? Get out of the truck. And then he forces Rachel into the back of the squad car.
So fucking weird.
And then he hits Steve and throws him in, and then Newberry attacks the sheriff, chief, whatever, and gets
radio.
Lets them out and tells them to get out of there. You know the chief is involved in all this.
Oh, 100%. He's closing all the fucking the loose ends.
Why doesn't Steve just jump him when his back is turned? He's
maybe that was in the original film.
He's breaking the law and shoving this girl into the back of a car. And you're just like, hey man, hey, can you stop? Ooh, wait, no, yeah. It's like, you know that he's involved in it. Just fucking, like, as he's doing it, just fucking bum rush him and smash the back of his head into the fucking cop car. No. Get her and get the fuck out of there. Like, you know that this shit's going on. Why are you like, excuse me? Like, it just doesn't make sense. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. Instead, he gets punched in the stomach once. And he's like, no. And then gets thrown into the car. But now that they're free, Steve and Rachel go to Steve's house to grab his sister Lindsay, but they're ambushed by Caldecott and Steve's parents, because it turns out Steve's parents signed him up for the program.
Sold me out, Mom? You sold me out.
Just want you to be okay. What about what I want?
This whole entire scene reminds me of Suicidal Tendencies, that one fucking song. All I wanted was a Pepsi.
That's it? But it's here, Steve finally grows a pair and hits Caldecott.
Yeah, right in the stomach.
And then Caldecott hits the ground. I'm like, oh, is everyone here a glass cannon?
Yeah,
like, what the fuck is going on?
Fuck?
As he tries to get his sister out of there.
Down.
Yeah, as he tries to get his sister out of there, they find out that they are completely surrounded by the rest of the blue ribbons. How are his parents okay with this? You just saw him get attacked
by so much garbage.
Right? Like, none of it makes sense.
This is why I said it's a bad fucking movie. As an adult and someone with a foreign brain now, I'm like, this doesn't make much sense.
It's like, hey, you want me to send my son to this program that has these kids that are beating the shit out of my son right now. That's where you want me to say, no, it's okay. It's okay. No. But I'm sure, like, if they said no, they probably would have had the blue ribbons, like, kill him.
Oh, fuck yeah.
What is it? Yeah, so Steve wakes up. He wakes up as he's being dragged into, like, the reprogramming place or whatever the hell it's called. He lets Caldecott know that he knows about his daughter, but he responds, she wasn't that bright to begin with.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Fucking Heartless son of a bitch,
It's like,
man.
God, fuck, dude.
No
Before he can get
shame.
reprogrammed, he cuts himself free with the scalpel he got a hold of while fighting with the orderlies or technicians. I don't even know what it is. He cuts himself free, and then the technician goes to get him, and he just wallops the fucking the technician with the arm of his fucking chair. He gets himself free. He runs for a while, and then somehow comes across Rachel and cuts her free. I really hope she wasn't reprogrammed, because right now she's not all there. On their way out, they encounter Chug. Steve tries to fight him, but Chug overpowers him. While he's choking Steve out with the telephone cord, Rachel beats him in the head with a pipe. UV and Lindsay arrive outside in the truck, and the group rushes to catch the outgoing ferry. On the way to the ferry, they run into a roadblock where Caldecott and the Blue Ribbons are all assembled. Weird. What?
They have to insane ferry. I'm like, these guys are fucking take ferries in the middle of the night.
Well, it's the fucking the town is an island, so yeah. I mean, ferries would. I think that's the last. I think they said that's the last ferry of the night.
Yeah, they're stopped.
Yeah,
ours went all night.
Not
alone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Manhattan doesn't stop.
We fucking doesn't sleep. We all work. Thank God, or I never would have gotten to some of my jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Newberry comes driving up in his car and gets shot by Caldecott in the process, but he knocks the shit out of him with his car. Caldecott goes flying. That was dope. He went boom and just went flying.
Like a fucking ragdoll.
He drives down a path, activating the multiple rat-catching devices strapped to his vehicle. This, again, scrambling the minds of the mind control tech inside the brains of the Blue Ribbons, sends them chasing after him. Steve
Bad
tells
R&D, man.
Yeah, but Steve tells his group to just go to the ferry and he'll meet him there. First, he has to go check on Newberry to get him out of there. Catches up with Newberry, which I don't know how he managed to get to Newberry
beforehand.
Before all the fucking raving lunatics that are chasing him. Like, how did that work? I don't know how that works. But he gets there. Wait, did he have a dirt bike?
Yes! He jumped it. That landing was fucking hard. And he jumps it and lands on the fucking on the ferry, wipes out, slides, and just gets up like nothing happened.
Where did the dirt bike come from?
Where'd he get the head? Yeah. Where'd the dirt bike come from? How'd he steal the dirt bike?
Where the fuck did the dirt bike come from?
Don't remember any.
All right, hold on. I'm opening up Tubi. I'm playing disturbing behavior right now. I'm on that.
Oh, you're trying to find it?
There's a dirt bike. I see it. It's just a random dirt bike right there. So most likely when the kids
when he got
running
cut
after him.
Yeah.
That's okay. So there was a dirt bike there, because that was my whole thing. I had no idea where the fucking dirt bike came from. I was like, yeah, he took a dirt bike.
Sure didn't fucking jump that fucking hard.
Yeah, he didn't run and jump that shit. So he manages to get down to Caldecott. Not Caldecott. He gets down to Newberry. Finds out Newberry is fatally wounded by the gunshot Caldecott did. And as the Blue Ribbons come running up, they just completely ignore Steve and start jumping on the car because they want to break all those things. So Newberry goes, "Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone," and drives his car straight off
straight into
the cliff, killing a majority of the Ribbons, if not all of them. Caldecott shows up behind Steve, and they get into a little bit of a tussle, ending with the doctor being pulled off the cliff. Steve rejoins his friends, and the four teens leave Cradle Bay to begin a new life. Final scene of the film. A class of unnamed high school students acting rowdy and playing loud music when a principal walks in is introduced to the new student teacher. The teacher is revealed to be Gavin, who survived everything and is still programmed by Blue Ribbon technology.
To pass it on as a groomer.
Yeah, and that is the end of Disturbing Behavior. Fun facts.
Fun fact.
On Sci-Fi Channel, and apparently something called Comet. It's some TV network. It's probably up in Canada or something like that.
I know Comet. No, I know. I've seen stuff on Comet.
Oh, okay. Apparently, somehow, a somewhat unofficial director's cut of the film, occasionally, it has like deleted scenes reinstated throughout the film, but it still has the theatrical ending. It's sometimes shown, or at least was sometimes shown on the Sci-Fi Channel. Like, it would pop up. It wouldn't be like what was in theaters. It would be this weird thing. And then, although a director's cut was never released, there has been online circulation of a fan-edited version which uses the DVD's deleted scenes, including the film's original ending. Yeah. And that's all I got.
I wouldn't mind looking for that.
Now, I want to go first with my thoughts, because like I said, I love this movie. For me, this movie is, I'll go a little hard and say 3 out of 5.
Hard in which way?
I would give it a 4, but I will go 3 out of 5 because it's a fun movie to watch. The actors are fun to see. You get to see boobies, and she's being all weird and like and stuff. But now here's my only real complaint of the entire movie. Not the ending. Well, the ending, but not the Gavin as a teacher continuing Caldicott's mission. Like, that's fine. Okay. That kind of makes sense. He was the only one not there when everything happened. So, and he also seemed to be the one that could be nice and friendly and cordial with everyone. So it's like maybe they made it right, because Gavin also didn't seem like he just wanted to like bust a nut everywhere, you know?
Yeah, like a different than the regular guys that he's supposed to carry it on.
Yeah, so maybe he's not like as broken as the rest of them. My problem comes from these burnout high schoolers with no education thinking they can, with no money, get from Washington State to Chicago.
That's exactly what me and her said. And so what are they doing as kids up there? They didn't know anybody?
Aren't their parents gonna like call the cops and report them missing? They have her truck's license plate and shit. If they have debit cards or something, the second they swipe anything isn't gonna pop in a database. Because even back then,
like, you still
when you
did
would
the
use cards, it would, your account would show. What are they gonna do in Chicago? Where are they gonna live? What are they gonna do for work since they haven't even finished high school? Is his sister in high school or in junior high? I'm confused about that because I don't think they're in the same school. But he's in high school. He's a senior in high school. But she's not there with them. She's in a completely different school. But it's not an all-girls school. It's a co-ed school.
There's so much.
So is she in junior high? Thing. Now you're trafficking a child across state lines. Like, there's that too. We're not even getting into the shit with UV. Like, he's just weird.
He's weird.
Like,
but he's funny.
Yeah. So this is probably something that David Nutter had figured out in his cut. Probably not all of it, but like all of this extra shit probably wasn't even in there. But focus groups that have no fucking clue what they are talking about, and studio execs that have never made a fucking movie in their life think they know better than the actual artist.
Of course.
I then want to bring up something some reviewers have said about it. This had a lot of negative reviews.
Potential. It should have potential, though.
It does have potential, especially if they went with an X-Files style thriller, which is what this was supposed to be.
What they were supposed to be.
Yeah. The majority of the negative reviews complained about the film's like derivative feel, claiming that it took too many tropes from other horror and science fiction films like The Stepford Wives, A Clockwork Orange, Village of the Damned. And it's like, do you think that there are original ideas?
Ever, anywhere?
Like,
yeah, I know.
If you think of it, someone else has already thought about it. Like, there are no original ideas. Yeah. One person in particular, New York Times' Stephen Holden, said the film could have worked as an eerie fable about teenage identity and social stratification in the age of Prozac, but descends into a paint-by-numbers creepshow that can't muster enough energy to be the tiniest bit scary. It's not supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be eerie. Like, A Clockwork Orange isn't scary. Stepford Wives isn't scary.
It's an intense
like Village
thriller.
of the Damned. Okay, that's like, whatever. But yeah, so it's like they complain about a lack of scares in the film, but it wasn't supposed to be a straight horror film.
It's scary, yeah.
I honestly wouldn't even really full on say sci-fi. I would say it's more of a thriller, and it's like I said to you before stream about the let me see if I can find it. You said that it aged poorly.
Yeah.
And I responded, I don't know. I'd say it aged just right. Parents and authority figures covering up, defending violent, rapey athletes because they're the popular kids.
Yeah.
It's
exactly
like
what they did with Brock.
That's legit. Yeah, that's legitimately true for today. So long as you're popular, so long as you have something that you can make adults feel like better about themselves about, like, they will cover up whatever fucking bullshit you do. And it did this in 98.
Did it for my high school.
It's still doing it right now. Like, it makes perfect sense. Like, of course, parents in a small town like this, some highfalutin doctor comes in and goes, hey, I can make your kids not fuck ups anymore. You're like, oh,
They
that's
can be
awesome.
mind controlled.
So they go, okay, but then it just comes down to the fact that like people go missing. Oh well, this cop ran off with this high schooler.
That's fucking questionable.
It's like, what? Why? Why did that happen? Like, that doesn't make sense that would happen. It's like no one questions anything the whole time. The parents, the one parent that steps and goes, hey, so my kid, he was like, you know, he was kind of a delinquent and a little bit of a fuck up, but like he was a good kid. Now he's kind of an asshole. And it's like, oh, that's to be expected because, but no, it's not to be expected.
That's not to be expected. I hate that fucking answer.
You said
Kids
that these
will
are going to
kids.
be
No.
upstanding citizens, and you turned them into assholes. Like, that's the problem. So, like I said, for me, I would give this a 3 out of 5. I think people should watch it. It's a fun watch. You get to see a lot of people, especially if you watch stuff now.
Inspiring.
Like you see them pop up and everything. But yeah. So what did you think? What did you like? What didn't you like?
I'll do the 3 too. Only, I mean, I don't like the fact that now I don't know what the actual movie was because that wasn't the movie at all.
I want to see the original script.
Yeah, so do I. I at least want to read it because it makes no fucking sense for a lot of it. Like the motorcycle, there's a lot of gray area that just doesn't have answers, and I can't stand it because it isn't a horror film. You kill a person, you chop them up. Okay, it's good. We're good. We're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is like, how did this guy come up with this? Where did this come up with the problem with the dicks and getting hard and shit? Like they should have answered some of these questions.
What was wrong with his
And then
daughter?
the brother,
Was she like slutty or something? So he was trying to make her not slutty?
was slutty, and then broke her. I don't know.
Was she already like maybe mentally handicapped, and he thought maybe
And she put her away.
The chip could fix her, but it just broke her more. So he's like, and like threw her in it. Like none of it is explained. So I don't know.
So it brings you to that, like, oh, what the fuck? So I'll leave it at a 3. I mean, yeah, go ahead, watch her for free. We used to always be able to see it on TV, whether we liked to or not. It was on TBS constantly. So, but if you haven't, it's one of our old school ones that we used to watch.
That is number sign out of 5. That is not the same thing.
Number sign.
I think I had something from, like a positive review that people had. They praised the dialogue for a lot of the scenes, particularly the cafeteria scene where they explained the different cliques. That was like, I think, the beginning of like that shit. They praised the performance of Nick Stahl because dude's a good actor. He's a very good actor. But they also, who is this? This was Lisa Schwarzbach. For all of its influences, disturbing behavior establishes a semi-real, semi-supernatural, part mocking, part commiserating genre of its own. A state so precious that those expecting chiller frights or warmer laughs may be disappointed. None of that is accurate at all. What the fuck are you watching? There's nothing supernatural about it. It's technology.
Yeah.
There's nothing ghosts, goblins, or like that's not supernatural. That's technology.
It malfunctioned.
Where's the mocking? There's no mocking. Where's the commiserating? Like nobody's commiserating in it. You know, it's everyone has their like own groups, and it's just kids going through fucking life, and like a parent being like, "Oh, we're gonna fuck shit up," and everything. The only thing they got is like semi-real, because it's like that's how like groups were usually broken up in school. That's like the only thing this chick got right with the. It's like fuck, get out of here. I swear to God, you sit there and you watch these people that like get paid by corporate media to write this. It's like, just if you don't even like the genre, just don't fucking talk about it.
Don't be that person. Don't be the person that does it. You don't even enjoy it. You're going in with a negative idea.
It's the same thing with when I used to write video game reviews. I never covered sports games. Sports games or driving games. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't get it.
Then it's not enjoyable for you.
It's like if I wanna go, it's like, oh, but you get to play sport. It's like I'll go outside and I'll play a sport. I don't need to sit there and pretend to be fucking Dan Marino
Wayne
or
Gretzky
fucking
or something. Yeah.
yeah. Like I don't need that. I could just go outside and throw fucking football around and shit like that.
I have a kid.
Same thing.
I can just throw it to a kid.
Same thing with driving games. Like I don't need to play a driving game. I can get in my car and go driving. Like
And in Texas, I don't need to drive any more further than what I do.
yeah, it's like I don't fucking care. So it's like there's no reason for me to do it because I'm just gonna go in, like you said, with like this negative attitude towards it. So it's gonna hamper it. I'm gonna put too much of my own shit in it. I review horror movies because I love horror movies. I'll watch good ones. I'll watch bad ones. I'll nitpick. I love this movie. I've seen this movie probably more than anything else we've covered so far besides like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And it's still 3 out of 5. Like I think people should watch it. It's not a great film, not by any means.
Sometimes you just need to still watch it to get the rest of your genre.
Yeah.
You gotta experience the good and the bad.
Yeah. I think next week's film is called Area 51.
Oh, Area 51. That's what it was.
Yeah. It is no longer on Tubi though, so I need to figure out where the fuck it is now. I mean, it's on YouTube for buying or renting. That okay, so I'm gonna give us the trailer. Here we go. This is the I have to undo this. What's up, Vanna?
Hey, what's up, Van?
Is Area 51 where the kids wake up in a medical area being experimented on?
You just described every Area 51 movie.
Yeah. I don't think so. Here, we'll put the trailer on.
I just heard every movie like that.
I know, right? But yeah, that is next week's film.
It looks good.
That's Michael Cera. But yeah, that's next week's film. It's fine.
It's a thing.
It's okay. It's not great, but it's a fun little thing. I guarantee you'll probably be like, it's a movie I could throw on in the background. Yeah. So far we have left Area 51, Bad Candy, the Spirit Board Sessions, Diary of the Dead, One Cut of the Dead, Warm Bodies, Planet Terror, Night of the Comet, Train to Busan, and Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. And then there'll probably be a little bit of a break because this will probably be what was it? Why is the floor sticky? Aliens, dude. Aliens.
Aliens.
But yeah. So I think this will end. I could pull it up so I could kind of see the end of season 3, part A. Because that'll end like the second week of November, and
then we'll have our.
By then, if everything goes,
if
everything goes good, then my wife should be going in for surgery to remove cancer, and then that'll be a couple of weeks of me just like taking care of her, making sure that she's okay, everything's like doing what it's supposed to do, and then we'll jump back into stuff. So that'll give me time to come up with more stuff. But Anthony has been coming up with ideas for like little mini things to put up on stuff. I don't know if it's stuff that we would just do recordings of or if it's stuff that
streamable
we would do live. Like I don't know, because I don't know during that period how much I'm going to be streaming, because I have to
understandably
go again for surgery and stuff. There's going to be like things. That is it for the Spooky Spooky Horror Show podcast this week. Thank you everybody for stopping by, and we will see all of you next week. We can't do bye-bye yet because I have to go back to the other screen, but now we can do it. Bye-bye.